Bonsoir. I'm feeling very, I don't know, saucy, I guess. I'm covered in butter and seafood. I went to Juicy Seafood today on a little luncheon date with a uh, good friend and loved one, and we binged and indulged, and it was a good time. But it's like you go and you have to put on like a plastic bib, and they bring you like this like big bag of like boiled seafood, and I got crab and lobster, and it's in this like, you pick your what kind of butter you want to do, and so I went with Cajun spiced butter. It's really messy, and you have to like take off all your jewelry and like clip up your hair, and like so put on goggles and use like scissors. It's like ridiculous. It's very primal, but we got messy doing that this afternoon, and then I had like one little afterwards drink, and then that was it. We were tired. We had things that we had to like keep our strength for the rest of the weekend. So it was a perfect little afternoon and a Saturday. And now I'm going to indulge in a good movie and some near weed and dessert. I got a rustic tart from Kroger, heavy whipping cream, and sea salt and caramel chocolate truffle ice cream. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to complete the binge of decadence and watch some kind of good movie and enjoy the night in. But first, I wanted to tell you guys about that, not to be a braggart. And I also wanted to pull a card from Spirit Junkie Oracle and tell you this like random anecdote from an example of how like joking around and having no resistance to something, sorry about my stutter there, actually brings forth manifestation. So yesterday I realized that it was Friday, and it was like afternoon, and I was tired, and I was like menstrual, and I was like, I'd been working a bunch, and I was just feeling like kind of like leisurely and lazy, and I needed the rest. And then I totally spaced on the fact that like I always post on Friday, and it was Friday and I missed my post. And like this is something I've been doing for years. Like I just don't forget that it's like Monday, Wednesday, or Friday and forget to post. So I totally forgot to post our weekend card. So I'm going to pull our weekend card from Spirit Junkie. And then I'm going to tell you the funniest, most random story. Another random story. We always have random stories built into our readings and our lessons. I hope you don't mind. I just think it makes it fun and personable and real. You know, you get like real examples of like how to apply like these heady concepts, like how they even relate to us. Okay, what did we get? Ooh, all that I love is more important than all that I fear. I love this card. All that I love is more important than all that I fear. And I think that when we're triggered and we can catch it and we can pause and say, what a pleasure. Why is this in my movie? And make a free will choice, we can say in that moment, you know what? I know that I'm feeling fear right now. I know I'm feeling out of my comfort zone. But what's the worst that's going to happen? I have anxiety. I've lived to tell the tale before. I'm feeling a bit frisky. I'm feeling bold, you know? And it's like, all that you love is so much more important than that momentary discomfort. And it's like, once you push through that a few times, it's not even uncomfortable for you anymore, and then you've up-leveled. So, you know, if you haven't watched my video from, I think it was yesterday, I was telling the story of how I broke a pattern, and in real time, it like doubled my income. And I think that like in that moment, I was just thinking like all the things that I love and want to do are so much more important and like inspiring than this moment of feeling nervous and like I'm not quite up to the task. And you know, it's like, when have I ever not risen to the occasion? And I will challenge you to ask yourself, when have you ever not risen to the occasion? And when you didn't, when you failed and everything went like the worst way it could, like how bad was it? How bad was it really? Like, are you watching this right now as a homeless person? Like, even if you are, it's like it could even get worse. Like, things can always get worse. And you know, things can turn around at any moment. And if you need it, you can search for whatever situation you're in right now and find recovery stories on the internet. You can find success stories, people that turned their situation around. That's the one, like, not the one good thing, but the internet is like, it's just energy, and it can be used for absolute darkness and trash, and it can be used for absolute good. I mean, I've had access to life-changing positivity through the internet. So just remember that if you need inspiration, if you need support, all you need to do is write your problem into a search bar and solutions will come to you. And just remember that when you are in a fearful situation and you are faced with fear, fear is facing you. And if you run and hide, it doesn't matter. The situation is not going to change. It will only change the moment you turn around and look that fear in the eye and you sit in the discomfort and you have enough willpower and self-control to pause and not make your decision based in fear, but to settle yourself inside and think and feel and discern and ask for guidance and wisdom, and then make a free will choice based on the best you can do using the resources that you have. But all that you love and all that you hope for and all that you're working towards and all that the past you that has put in all the work all along and deserves, you know, the strength in this moment for you to keep going and keep pushing. All that you love is more important than what you fear. Fear is so small when you compare it to the face of love. When you compare that momentary discomfort in the face of all that you hope for and all that you hope to have and the happiness that lies ahead, and the happiness that's there for you in this moment for the taking. You know, it's just a moment where you switch the way you perceive things. You switch the way you're experiencing this moment and the way that you think of it, and whether or not you're grateful for it or not, and whether or not you can actually see what you have, and see the real picture of what you've got and be happy in that moment and satisfied. Like, no one can take that from you once you have that solid core. And I'm like slightly drinking, so if I go off on like a tangent and like nothing makes sense, I'm sorry. I've had like a couple of drinks and a lot of rich food. Okay, so this is the random story. So I have been eating this like kind of like gourmet popcorn that was in my Christmas stocking, and it's like a box of caramel and like mint chocolate and nuts. And I mean, I like popcorn, but I'm not like a popcorn obsessed person. But recently, because of all my Christmas candy, I was like, you know, popcorn would be good because I love salty buttery popcorn with chocolate, and I had all these like chocolate ganache truffles from Christmas. And so we just had an overabundance of them. So I got, you know, a bunch of them. And so I was like, ooh, that would be good with popcorn. But it hadn't been anything that I'd like deeply wanted. It was just something like in the back of my mind, like, oh, I should get some popcorn, or, oh, I'm eating this like gourmet popcorn. It's good. It's not even like what I would go for as my own snack. Like, I just don't care about popcorn. But just having thought about popcorn and been like over the past few nights, like eating a few bites of it here and there, and then thinking like, ooh, popcorn would be good with that other thing. I'm sitting in the living room the other day at my computer doing something, and like I'm by the window and I can see that the UPS guy is pulling up. And for some reason, I haven't ordered anything. I'm not expecting anything, but I'm like, he's here for me. I know the UPS guy is here for me. Sure enough, he gets out and he starts walking towards my door. But the thing is, like, I'm in a townhouse, and like he could be walking over to the neighbor's door. But I had a feeling it was like the package sounded like it was going in front of my door. And he didn't knock or anything, and they don't always do. So when he was gone, I went back to what I was doing, and I was like, whatever, it doesn't have anything to do with me. And later I went to like check the mail or take the trash out or something. And actually the UPS guy was dropping something off at my house. So I looked down at this box. I'm thinking like, I haven't ordered anything, so there must be a mistake. And so I'm looking at the shipping label, and it is definitely addressed to this address, and there's no mistake there. But it's to Lindsay Taylor and not Liz Taylor. But the Taylor is spelled right and the address is right. But I'm not Lindsay, I'm Liz. But then I'm like, well, if somebody randomly sent me something and they thought they just remembered my name, like, they could be like, oh, was it Lindsay? But then I'm like, who would be randomly sending me a package? And then I was like thinking, okay, well, it could have been an autocorrect. Like it could have been like Liz and then it autofilled Lindsay. But I'm just like, still, like, who is sending me something in the mail? This is too weird. And so I look closer at the box, and it's a box from Garrett Popcorn Shops. This is like a box of gourmet popcorn. And I didn't order it. It got sent to my house, to my address, to Lindsay Taylor. But I'm Liz Taylor. I don't know. Like, I was so confused. I was like, is this anthrax? Like, are people like spying on me and they're like trying to mark my house with this random box of popcorn? And this is like how they're like figuring out my moves. Like, I don't understand. Like, where did this popcorn come from? So I have not opened this popcorn yet to see if there's any kind of note inside with an explanation. But I just thought it was funny that I've been kind of thinking about popcorn, but I wasn't thinking inside like, oh, I don't deserve that popcorn, or I'm too nervous for that popcorn, or, oh, that's just unreasonable or unrealistic. Like, I was just thinking like, oh yeah, popcorn, like, that would be good with that. That would be good. And same with Juicy Seafood. I had just been thinking lately like, oh, I really want to go to Juicy Seafood. Oh, this particular person would like that place. Like, they always, like, we've gone there before together. This is a good place to go together. And they actually had like initiated like us hanging out today for lunch. And then I mentioned that place and they were like, oh, that would be so good. And so we did that. But that, I mean, the popcorn is even more random than the restaurant, if you ask me. It's just here. So what do you guys think? Should I open this and eat it? Because I'm definitely not going to like go drive to a UPS, be like, sorry, this isn't mine. Like, I don't even know. Like, so I guess I'm probably going to open it and see what's in it, but I'll let you know how that goes. All right, guys, what was our card? Let's review the play. Oh yeah, it was all that I love is more important than all that I fear. All right, have a good rest of your weekend. I'll see you tomorrow at some point. Bye.